95% of our lives are run and created by our subconscious mind programming. Imagine if your subconscious mind is running many negative, disempowering, and self-sabotaging programs. How will that 95% of your life turn out to be? Would you like help to change your subconscious programming into something that works for you and set it to attract and create everything you desire? Join Tamra Oviatt in her show Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer here on OMTimes, where she will connect to the source energy and change your subconscious programming by deleting your negative belief systems. Tamra is the founder of Sacred Activations, a subconscious metaprogramming modality that rewires your brain and shifts hundreds of your belief systems so you can break away from lack, pain, and suffering and take control of what you want to create in your life. Tamra has helped hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, and she is here to help you too. It's not about fighting what you don't want. It's about creating what you do want. And the only way to do that is to change and upgrade your subconscious programming. Let Tamra help you create magic in your world. Tune in every week at Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer.
Hello and welcome to another episode of OMTimes. First, I want to thank Tamra Oviatt, and if you don't know, her website is tamraoviatt.com. Thank you so much for entrusting me to be the host. On her website, you'll find this, like the OMTimes stuff, you'll find webinars, you'll find trainings, everything, all the information is there. And I am Isakov. I am one of the teachers and the master practitioners, and I run trainings. In fact, I have a master's coming up beginning of October and medical intuitive training in January. But I also run Sacred Activations webinars. In fact, I have one tomorrow on the body, on the physical body healing. And I have a very popular YouTube channel called, and I call the episodes Inside Healing. And each week, depending on the theme, there is a few sacred activations, one or two sacred activations that go with that. But today, right now, is a really kind of a unique theme, one that's not talked about or covered very much. And it's on time on being here now. So it's called Be Here Now, the Power and Illusion of Time. So the influences for today's talk are from Ram Dass. If you know him, and I love him, he passed away a few years ago. Another really good person in fact, I got to see him live, so I'm so grateful. He's also passed, is Thich Nhat Hanh. Oh, just listening to him talk brings you to the present moment and kind of out of the time matrix and all the loops and illusions that time creates. But let's start. So time really is a mental construct. In fact, time was even created by us humans, first with the shadow, the sundial, depending on the sun, and then the construct of time itself. And it's reinforced in every moment. Even in my life, here I am meeting the time schedule, which is great. So as you hear me talk, you'll see how time also has, you can take control of how time works in your life by how you reinforce the moments of your life. So I'll get there. So basically, we're conditioned and everything revolves around time. Do you remember in school when all the schedule of the classes, and then, we look at the clock for 3:45 or whenever your time ended? It's been reinforced, and it is a very masculine, the organized, which is really important, is the masculine energy. So that's how we live really in the masculine world, controlled by time and schedule of the time. And a lot of this stuff will be influenced by Ram Dass, who when I was preparing, I could actually feel him over my right shoulder. I didn't think he was one of my guides, but he was like clapping his hands and waving his arms in joy. So I guess he's really happy that I'm using some of his wisdom today, and hopefully it will serve you as much as it has served me. First of all, we are creatures of habit. Just like what kids and babies, they'll have their schedule. We also kind of have our schedule. I like to have my dinner at 5 p.m. I know some people think it's early, but it's all a programming as well. We kind of get driven into the programming, and we live a lot in our past and also in the future. The past holds our regret, our shame, our attachment to things like we grip to. And our future actually often holds our fear. Mostly our fear of the unknown, because we have been conditioned to fear the unknown, which is also kind of the masculine, because intuition and magic is all feminine, and it's all kind of leaving that space for the unknown, isn't it? But we live in the pain and the memories and the plans and the reflections, and then, excuse me, in our thoughts. Our thoughts kind of rule our mind. The mind rules our mind. So when we hear, oh, there's no time, really what's happening is there's no space in the mind. Ooh, I don't know. Please know that everything that is said today is just as a reflection, and everything is said with loving kindness. There is no judgment here in anything. In fact, I'm still, I still deal with time stuff as well myself. Especially if you've had trauma, then you're more likely, because we grip to that stuff and we grip to what they've done and what's happened. And that also keeps us in the past, which is so far from the present. So this is where, yeah, we're gonna get to this part. So everything kind of around us reassures and separates us from ourself. So everything that takes us away from the moment is taking us away from ourselves, whether it's our traumas, whether it's the future, the fears, whether it's the reflections, whether it's the anger, whether it's whatever it is, the judgments that we have takes us away from the now, which takes us away from the present moment. It literally cultivates a self-image that we have of ourselves as we move through time, as we move through the consciousness, because we're so busy planning or reflecting, planning the future or reflecting on the past. And this all supports our image of the present moment, which is really, we kind of live in an illusion. If you've seen the movie The Matrix, it was actually really was kind of very spiritual movie and very much ahead of its time. It's about living in the denseness of the Matrix. Do you know how our physical body is dense, and all the subtle bodies to the last one, the spirit body, the soul level, is the less dense? Well, we actually also live in a dense reality that's not just our thoughts and worries, but also the fears and all the stuff from the collective. So not only the density is not just from our fullness of a mind, but also what we feel and sustain from the physical, from the collective fears and what's going on there. So as Tamra actually calls it, it's a video game. How do we play in the video game, and how much do we plug into the video game? But you can live in the video game, but not plug into it. You can reside and still be in the flow of time, still be in the freedom of it, but still live in the density of the matrix, which really is the third dimension. And when we feel the density, it's people's pain, it's people's suffering, it's people's fears. Fear is actually a huge one. So we carry all of that within our being, and that just clutters us more, and that creates the overwhelm, and that creates like, I have no time mentality, because it's just so much. And it's conditioned from media, from the systems, from the family, because it's just passed on. All the fears are kind of, it's like a ladder, going down the ladder to the us in the currently, and then the upper is the parents, the grandparents, the great grandparents. So we like to keep the schedule, and the schedule is reinforced in our moment-to-moment life. And yeah, it comes in handy so we can get to work, so we can make money, so we can pick up our kids. All of that is the schedule. And yes, absolutely, it is needed to live in the culture that is very schedule-oriented. So we're in no way am I knocking that at any point. It's more about it's not really about time itself. It's about how we attach to the time. And generally, the time that we attach to is the time that's already happened, or the time that we're anxiously awaiting and planning for and worrying about and fearful about. When we are so caught up in this, there's no space for creativity. There's no space for intuition. Intuition needs fluidity. Intuition is feminine. Intuition needs space. So we need to create that space so we can really zap in. But then I can get deeper, because amidst the space, we also need to trust. And to be intuitive, to be tapping in, is also to trust yourself, that you're able to do that. So a lot of us don't even think, oh, I'm not intuitive, but we all are, right? And that's that feminine part of ourselves, that flowy, fluid part of that you need to be in the moment. For intuition to tap in, you need to be in the here and now, the be here now, as Ram Dass calls it. So everything really is in this moment. All of our commitments to the future keep us from the moment. And basically what we're trying to do as we deconstruct this schedule and the matrix of time is get back the fullness of each moment. Even now, each moment is fleeting, each moment is passing, and it's still the time is still ticking. It's all about cultivating the fullness of the moment. So in order to do that, though, we need to create the time and space within our mind so we can get back to the fullness of the moment. If you guys heard about Vipassana meditation, it's everywhere, all over the world, and it's actually by donation. So you can attend for free and just donate what you can. And in Vipassana, you literally are in the 10-day meditation, silent retreats. You really are just observing the flux of all that's going on in the mind, in the body, the sensations of the body, the whatever's going in the mind, whatever's going in the heart, and you bring it back. You're letting what's there dissolve by not attaching to it, because we love to attach. We clutch, don't we? And that's what keeps us in the past, actually. When we clutch to the fear, that's what keeps us in the future. So we're in this little prison cell of all that clutter. But when we observe it all, it's called actually the witness. When we witness something, we don't judge it. We allow it to be as it is without needing it to be any different way. And that is the witness. When we kind of loosen the reins of the attachment to all the stuff in the past and the stuff in the future, well, then it kind of dissolves. And when it dissolves, we create space. And when we create space, we get more of the fullness of each moment back, don't we? It's all really is quite it's fascinating. I have to tell you, I'm still working on this. And I have to say, I still sometimes even have anxiety of time. I'm always early for my schedules. And I'm okay with that, because, I'm aware of that. So, awareness is always the first step to change. But the anchor is always your breath. So in meditation, or even if you're not meditating, the anchor is always the breath. And that non-attachment, that witnessing, that allows some of that clutter that we attach to dissolve, to go, or at least get thinner, start to thin. The rope gets thinner. The metal of the prison cage starts to also dissolve. Because we stick to memories. We don't just stick to the bad stuff, but we also really cling to the good stuff. We cling to the good old days. You guys know about, those glory days, as we call them. And we attach to that because change, even adapting to change, isn't always easy. That could be a whole other topic that actually has to do with grief and grieving change of any kind. But I want to really stay on this topic here. So we judge, we reflect, we stay in the memories. But here's the kicker. What keeps us in judgment, what keeps us in the past or the future, is our dissatisfaction with the current moment of who we are, whether it be even the physical aspects, how we look, who we are, where we are in our life. So it's that dissatisfaction with the present moment that keeps us so in the past and so in the future. Don't we judge ourselves? We judge, I mean, gosh, we're not even allowed to age normally, but even aging is a belief system. Like, I'm 53, I'm supposed to have white hair, I'm not supposed to wear flowy, I'm not supposed to show skin. Like there's a lot of kind of unspoken belief systems that keep us dissatisfied with who we are, how we age, or what we choose to not attach to. Like, I'm not going to attach to the aging belief system of the Matrix. I'm not going to. I'm going to continue to let my hair be long and fluid and be myself and dress how I want to dress, even if it's how I dressed 20 years ago. It's my choice. But it's how do we unstick from all of that stuff that's all around us, that's keeping us so dissatisfied, in a lot of cases, even self-loathing our being, both physical and non-physical. So I don't know. I'm going to keep doing me. And hopefully this will help you, look in the mirror and just really celebrate who you are and how you look. And there's only one you, after all, right? So this is the programming the belief systems that tell us what's okay to wear, what's not okay to wear. We've been conditioned to stick to this plan. The plan includes aging, by the way. The plan also includes, oh, you're supposed to retire at this age. Oh, you're not supposed to make money at such. This is also when you're young as well, by the way. You're not supposed to make money at a young age. There's so many judgments at all of our ages, whether we're young, all the things that they're putting on us, and then when we get older, it's like all the things that we're, I'm on my third career, and I feel like I'm only just beginning. My goodness, don't put me anywhere. Don't put me in any box. I'm just getting started, sister and brother. But ultimately, it's not just the culture, it's also the trauma that we live with that's keeping us really condensed. So unpacking will help you free up time, and not in the literal clock time, but the time that you're gripping to inside your being. Create that fullness of each moment. That's Ram Dass. Oh, I love him. I love preparing for this. And here's the thing, when we have had trauma or heartbreak, whatever it means, we like to control. And I've noticed when I was researching, and it's true, we like to control things that have a number, have something that we can attach to, like the weight, the weight that we are, or of course, time, we control the number. Like, so if you've had trauma that's not healed, you'll want to control something. And you could basically, we want to control, it's easier to control things outside of you than it is to look within and start to unpack. But ultimately, until you feel safe in who you are, until you begin to appreciate who you are, it's really hard to let go of those attachments and that control. And I'm speaking from firsthand, but now I'm going to give you an example how you can be in the full moment without not even meditating. It's about your practices that you put into place in your life. But we cheat ourselves when we stay in our mind. We cheat who we are. We take things away from ourselves because we put other people's expectations and other people's judgments, and then we actually make them our own. We make it in our mind, creates this illusion that it's actually my expectation. But oftentimes the expectations, like I had to go to university. I didn't have a choice. And then I thought of some, I had to be successful by what was termed as success. And then I went to a second university to become a professional, So we all have that. And it's nobody's fault. Nobody did anything to you. Everybody just doing things to meet wherever their fears are, wherever their traumas have left them. Does that make sense? Nobody's done anything to me or to you. They've just done things, and same with us. That's a whole other topic that I would love. It does have some connection to time, actually, but not to where I'm heading with it at the time. So we try and control each moment, so then we miss out on the fluidity and the fullness of the moment, don't we? Yeah. And our culture is so future oriented. We have to plan, which is very masculine as well. So it discourages truth. It discourages intuition. It discourages, not truth, but it discourages the trust that we have in ourselves. And we're taught to trust in others and the system and in the plan and in the schedule. So the time, got that song, time keeps on ticking. And we start to think, oh my God, then at some point, we're like racing against time. I actually have a sacred activation for that today. All of a sudden, we think it's too late. And then we stop trying altogether. Ooh, because the system and the culture, the collective has told us that if we don't have it established by this time, well, then you're out of luck. Time's up. Oh, my goodness. Picasso did not even get successful till his 80s. Imagine if he gave up art because he wasn't successful yet, even in his 50s. It's really warped, and it's nobody's fault. This is part of that matrix fear. So nobody's done anything to us. It's everybody's doing stuff on their belief systems and their fears. So when we are in the fullness of the time, when we're in fullness of time, then we are in the fluidity of time. Then we find that inner ease. Then things just flow. And the beauty of that is when we find that fluidity within our being, less dense, and of course the subtle bodies, everything's more flow and fluid. Then such interesting things transpire around you. It's almost like, whoa, it's so interesting. That's a whole other topic, but it's about serendipities. It's about things coming to you. It's about what happens when time is fluid. And how do we move in that fullness, and how do we move in that fluidity? Honestly, it's about awareness, and it's being okay in each moment in how it is. One of my favorite quotes, gosh, it's been my favorite for so long. Here it is. One of the greatest sufferings on the human plane is people wanting things to be other than how they are. So the dissatisfaction with the present moment, will it be with ourselves or our life? When you have that awareness, this is also from Ram Dass, when you have that awareness, not the quote though, when you have that awareness of some kind of dissatisfaction or some kind of judgment, shift it to appreciation. Shift slowly. I know it's hard to deconstruct fast. You have to give it time. And it's called a practice. Meditation is one way, but meditation isn't the only way. No. So attachment to any model disturbs the flow and the presence. Attachment to any outcome. So we're so attached to the product. We're so attached to the end outcome. Even where I am now, I plan all my aspirations. I've got webinars already on my website in January. So here's the thing. You can plan for the future. You can even think about the past. It's all about in the fullness of the moment. In the fullness of the moment, all of that exists. Let me repeat that because I might have confused you if this is the first time to hear it. In the fullness of each moment, all of that exists. The past, future, all of it. It all exists. So you can plan for the future. Absolutely. You can think about the past, but in the spacious, full moment. It doesn't mean that it will turn out exactly as you want, because, well, then you have to be careful what you want, right? In the fullness of a free-flowing moment, you're aspiring, you're planning, but the outcome you're allowing. It's the free flowing aspect of time, the non-attachment to time, the non-attachment to the schedule, or dare I say, the journey of how you get there. I'm going to talk about that in one moment on something. So, yeah, as I said, the present moment includes all the directions that exist. So you can plan for the future. You can plan and even be aware of the planning. You can really be consciously, but then witness when you want things to be other than how they are. So this is where it's also about the attention, the art of attention. I am going to be running I'm going to be running a sacred activation for that. It's called being present and listening. That's why, our attention span, there's a research, by the way, that our attention span is 7 seconds. What? We are no longer able to even hold eye contact. We're not even able to hold time with somebody else because we're so used to looking at a machine, a computer, whatever, all the things that are technology. We've lost even the time, the fluidity, the fullness of the time to be with someone because we've lost it with being with ourselves. Remember, everything is a ripple effect from what's inside you. You have to first cultivate that fullness and presence with yourself. I teach restorative yoga, and I always say it's the most advanced practice because they're in a pose for 10 to 15 minutes. And it's so hard because at a certain time, the mind gets into the narratives and the stories and the judgments and blah, 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 and the troubles of life, all to distract from being within your being, that the satisfaction of being you, or facing the traumas, or facing whatever it may be. But facing anything within you should not be a traumatic, that's a whole other topic. Ooh. Basically, it's challenging to be with oneself. And if it's challenging to be with oneself, if we're so distracted in our story, in our narrative, how can we possibly give that same attention, that art of attention, to somebody like I'm giving you, who is ever watching this? This is a wondrous topic. And I think about this topic all the time. And I think the more fluid my time goes, and I actually also work with the dream time. So you can actually even move towards lucid dreaming, which I think working with that has actually helped me with creating more fluidity in my day awake time. There's so many marvelous tools. We will also move into the timeline after I talk to you about the timeline. So there's a way to plan for the future when you're right here, when you're not lost in your thoughts or distracted by them. Each moment is, each moment needs its present, each moment needs its art of attention, even when you're planning for the future, even when you're reflecting on the past. So we lose sight of the process because we're so caught up in something. Generally, it's the end product. Generally, it's where we want to be. Generally, it's how much we want to make, all that stuff. So when the soul part of you appreciates all of it. The personality part of you, the personality part of you is that critical part of you, the judging part of you. When we connect more to the soul, which I'll talk about again in a second when we get to timelines, when we get to the soul, when we start to connect more to the soul, which is the final of the subtle bodies. So that's when we really kind of dealt with the mental and emotional bodies, which are also here in your subtle bodies. Then it's easier. Then we see everything, even the most tragic things, as lessons, as wisdom. You know that there's karmic seeds for everything. For example, I thought I was late. I thought, my God, I did not listen. I had so many signs in my 20s of my gifts, and I did not listen. And I was badgering myself for a little while until, it became clear, and they told me point blank, is that I'm right on time. I had to learn all those lessons. I had to gain all that wisdom to be here to serve others, to help others. And I'm like a teacher. I'm a scholar in my, that's what they tell me. So I mean, even before, my profession was a school teacher for school kids, elementary. So my path has always been to teach. My path has been always to present in some way. And it's so interesting because I actually stopped speaking for a period in my third foster home. So it's so fascinating how I'm just talking all over the place. You're right on time, guys. Oh my God, I get a little bit clump because I've sensed like there's around 12 people that really need to hear this here. You're right on time. My goodness, I had a message when I was 25. I don't want to talk about that story. I reflect on it a lot, but it will take a bit of time. That I was on the wrong path. I was told physically, and I was also told other ways. And the people that came into my life, I even had somebody come into my life and tell me. I still didn't listen because I was too messed up in my own traumas, in my own stories, in my own narratives. But all of it is part of the plan. So we think I'm late. I'm on time. You're on time. We're all on time. Yeah, stop the clocks. We're on time. So as you know, as Tamra says, you can live in the matrix, but not plug into it. So I live in the matrix. I schedule things. I know how things need to work, but I don't plug into it. I do my practices and I stay within the fluidity of time and the fullness of time. I want to talk about the presence piece and about that fullness of time. You can actually capture it all the time. For example, some of my clients actually have my text number, and she texted me something, and it was a big thing that we've been working on in our private sessions over the last year. And I paused. I didn't go into meditation to reflect any wisdom. The thing is that once you get into the practice, you're always in that fullness of the moment. And I replied, and I was like, what? You'll find that the more you find the fullness of the moment, the more you have those practices, your rituals, then you'll always have it. So when she's texting me, I texted her back and she said, whoa, that's profound. And I was like, whoa, that's profound. You're always in that fullness of the moment. I didn't sit in meditation for 5 minutes to answer her. It all came through to me. It was about the foundation of the garden that she's blossoming, and about not, the attachment to the external, and that she's building the foundation from within. Anyway, I still get mind blown. I'm still in awe of even myself and these moments, but I'm hoping that you will find these moments as well. Ram Dass talks about 2 ways to really cultivate the fullness of the moment. First is be in stillness and find time for meditation. Really, you have to tune in. If you're not willing to tune in, oh my goodness, how will the clutter dissolve? So Vipassana or other meditations, whatever it is, it's going to work for you to help you connect more to your spirit. You have to start connecting to the spirit. And yeah. The second is the love, not the I love you love, but the bigger form of love. The love of, I guess, the 5th dimension and the 4th dimension. It's that the higher consciousness of love, the bigger aspect of love. The heart space isn't the emotional space. So we're not talking about all the emotions of love. We're just talking about that fullness, the big picture of love. And the quieter your mind, the more you are in the richness of each moment, the more harmony you find in each moment. And I want to talk about, I'm going to be running some activations for you. We're going to start in one moment, in a break, in 1 second. But I want to talk about when I'm going to be running the timelines in parallel universes. Please know that we're going to run it so to put you on the timeline that's going to be it's going to serve your highest good. But your soul, your personality self will want things to be financially successful and blah, blah, blah. But your soul will also, in your higher self, will choose the timeline that will serve you best for also your progression, your evolution. So when we set that intention today for the timeline parallel universes, please know that you can set your intention just for that, whatever's in my divine highest good right now. And notice when the personality wants to get involved in the attachments, but the soul, letting the soul, because the soul knows. I feel like I should stop here for our break, and then we're going to get right into some healing and some clearing to help us move into the fullness of each moment.
OMTimes TV. Do you want to go deeper into sacred activations, which is a subconscious metaprogramming process? Tamra Oviatt is inviting you to visit her website at tamraoviatt.com to sign up and get lifetime access to 3 free activations that you can listen to anytime you want or as often as you need. If you like what Tamra does and like to incorporate sacred activations into your life, she also offers live webinars, masterclasses, and practitioners training to further support your healing, manifestations, and expansion. There are hundreds of activations on her website that address different aspects of your life: money, health, relationships, intuitive abilities, and more. Head over to her website at tamraoviatt.com and experience the magic of sacred activations. Thank you for listening. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OMTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OMTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OMTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OMTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OMTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OMTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Okay, we are back. Before we begin, well, actually, I'll talk about this once we get started in the into the healing. Yeah, let's dive in. Go ahead and find a comfortable seat or lie down. And here we go. And just take a few expansive breaths. Remember, let those breaths really be the anchor to bring you back in, to reel you back in to the fullness of each moment. And let every exhale bring you further into your body. And then on the next exhale, bring yourself down, down, down through all the layers of Mother Earth until you get to the heart of Mother Earth, the heart chakra of Mother Earth. And feel the grounding energy of that place. And from that place, set a deep intention to fully receive, to fully accept. Always, you can say this out loud, even your hand on the heart, that I'm worthy and fully accept and open to receive. All right. I'm going to start with Moses Code, Sacred Activation. And this will energize, this is cellular level, energize the body and the mind. Remember, always in the healing path, we want to clear, purify, then we fill. And today we're filling with the fullness of each moment, the fluidity of time, and the time is on our side. Life is on our side. Overwhelm, sacred activation. Uncluttering not just your stuff, but also the collective's fears, plans, judgments, traumas. A lot of stuff kind of coming, it's almost like you're at the top of your head. This stuff coming out of the top, it's opened up. Polar opposites, shifting, changing the neural pathways of your mind from the negative, not necessarily to the positive, but to the things that are going to serve you. Polar opposites. Tell me that there's actually traumas leaving that you're attached to in your mind. Whenever I say anything, it's for numerous people that are here. Gonna stack the next two. Defragmentation and laser focus. And thought be gone. Defragmentation and laser focus is a really good one. It's actually one of my favorites. If you're a practitioner, use that one. Don't forget about that one. It's going to help a lot. You run it on yourself all the time. Here we go. Defragmentation and laser focus. And thought be gone. I'm going to stack the next two as well. Creating the future from your past and yesterday's news. How attached are you to the old stories, the narratives, to the past? Here we go. And how much of that is influencing your aspiration to create for the future, or even opening up to the newness and the fullness of the future. Creating the future from the past, activation. And yesterday's news. I'm going to run the next three, and I'm going to let you have your experience. I'm going to be quiet for a bit. Let's go. First one is not too old, not too young. Releasing anything from the matrix that is keeping you from being in the fullness of wherever you are on your time, on your, no matter how old you are. Race against time, deactivation. Let yourself flow. And being present and listening, the art of attention. So these three will be run within the next 3 or so minutes. Tune in, breathe, allow. Here we go. We run healers in time, and time is on your side. 2 sacred activations. Accept to receive. Feel time expanding. So I'm going to talk you through a little meditation to run timelines in parallel universe. Take a few expansive breaths. And imagine there's an elevator door in front of you. The door opens, you step in, and you click on timelines in parallel universe. Click on the button, and here we go. Going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The door opens. You step out. And as I run timelines in parallel universes, it started. We're asking for the timeline that it's in your highest good, that is in the best interest of you following your soul's path. So this will facilitate bringing you to the timeline that most facilitates you, your soul's path and your higher self. Moving to a higher level that is going to suit you, going to flow with you now. Here we go. It's already running. So it may access a timeline from the past or even the future. And it will not be the same, but it will be what is needed right now. That is for your soul's highest good, for your highest good. You can expect these changes even like within 6 months. So every year is going to be different. Even people are watching the recording, it'll be different. But you see the elevator door open up in front of you, and you're gonna jump in. Gonna click Mother Earth. We're gonna go down lower. So moving down through 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna keep going down though. Keep moving down until you hit the heart of Mother Earth. And based in the loving, grounding, integrating, and healing energy of Mother Earth. I'm just going to run a few things to help with the integration of the energy. The elevator door opens up again. Go ahead and step in. And we're going to go up to your heart space, 21. So click heart space, the door closed. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16, all the way to your heart. The elevator stops, doors open, step out, and you're in your heart center. Take a few expansive breaths through your heart. And repeat this out loud if you can. I am fully back into my body, fully grounded, supported, and in the present moment. I am fully back into my body, fully grounded, supported, and in the present moment. I am fully back into my body, fully grounded, supported, and in the present moment. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And when you are ready, you may open up your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of OMTimes on being here now, the fluidity and the fullness of time. That's actually in every moment. Bye for now. Much love as always.